The unstoppable power of Exodia, the Forbidden One. It also appears Ritual Beast had some great success this weekend, along with Bystial control and Salamangreat. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Exodia took 4th place out of the Indie Regional this weekend, and there were some very interesting little innovations to this now as we're still sitting here waiting on a ban list to come out over the golden rainbow sun out here somewhere off in Cancun. Well, you know, we have to look at other things to kind of pass time, and Spooky Dogwood definitely showing the best of both worlds out here. You know, I think the thing I love most about this is you can go second with this deck, drop a Spooky Dogwood on your opponent, and your opponent's just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, like, it's going first, whatever, game 1, I'll give you a bunch of life points. You activate Millennium Ankh, you kill your opponent. Like, congratulations, you just won the game because your Exodia suddenly has 30,000 attack points, and any monster that your opponent has on the field just gets wombo comboed over, and they're left in this situation just looking so dumbfounded at you. Like, you've just literally won the lottery on the power scale for things that you can do. Yes, that is what it's like to play Exodia, the Forbidden One. Now, some interesting other things here. We're playing one Rage, and then we are playing one Obliterate. We are also only playing 2 copies of Wedju. I'll be honest with you, Wedju's not like the greatest card in the world, but I think that this is something kind of worth considering out here. You know, like, you want to have this card, you know, some of the time, but not all of the time. So kind of cutting back on that's fine. You have the golems to search this anyway, so it's not really a problem. You've also got the terraforming, you know, post-side decking here. You're able to bring in these secret villages, and then congratulations, you know, your opponent's just in a bad position. I also find it interesting, this build was playing the Psychic Gem Punisher, but you know what, in case, you know, some games kind of invert and go the opposite way, kind of find yourself in a position to kind of equalize things and see what different ways that you can try to go about the game to try to balance things out so that, you know, the game can go in your favor. But outside of that, not too bad. I like the idea behind this list, and it performed really well. Next up is Ritual Beast. Now, this deck went 9-0. This was the undefeated out of the Indie Regional this past weekend. And this deck is a very scary thing. I think a lot of people have kind of underestimated the power of, you know, Protoss and friends. And I heard some very unfortunate tournament reports from people that did get the chance to play against Ritual Beast over the weekend. And it was just like, oh yeah, Protoss, how fun. Fun interactive. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players would be salty about anything, but I thought that was kind of a little funny thing out here to be taken away from this. You know, Protoss was just that big windfall of a card. Looking at the rest of the ratios, I mean, Nemesis Flag, definitely a great support card. You know, you're focusing on the E-Tellies. You also do have the Inheritances here to kind of keep you along the way. I do see, you know, Tact Talents in here as well. You gotta remember, Tact Talents is a stupid card. Alright, one of the 3 devastating effects from the former ban list just is too much to really be running around in the game right now. So, you know what? If you have the counter card to the counter, good on you. Also only playing 1 copy of Steeds. Most people, I think, have kind of agreed now at this point, you just play the 1 Steeds and call it a day. Even though you could technically go for more. Double Kanahawk also sticking around to be the norm out here. And Annapolis, Axis, Code Talker, being those strong generic boss monsters for you to do your thing. Also, you know, we did have a very, very early on, a lot of these builds were testing out, you know, a multitude of Dimension or Dark World of No Mores here in the main deck. Maybe for different tournaments, yes, but I think for the most part here that this is particularly fine. You know, you don't want to mess around with the ratios too much, and things will be successful for you in the long haul. So, okay, that's pretty decent. Outside of that, definitely good stuff, to say the least. You know, if you're a Ritual Beast player, you've been eating pretty good lately. Like, your deck is kind of ignorant, and it's a good thing to see. Oh, Bystial control. Now this is essentially technically classified still as Dragon Link, you know, for the things that you can do. You know, obviously the Erratic Spheres, you know, Pisty, but you've just stripped out all the rocket cards from the deck, and you no longer have to deal with that fat, as we're going to say. You do see, though, that this build is playing the Dark End Evaporation Dragon. This actually is really, really good. You know, first of all, ditching a free level 8 from the deck to special summon it, sure, but then you get the chance to make the Borload Furious Dragon down here. which kind of turns your deck into a completely interesting creature. We are also playing Mr. Fallen of Albaz 2 down here, but also has Bystial in the name, which is very important for the little combos that you're able to go through, you know, the stepping stones for stepping through the ladders. Okay, and then of course, we are playing the Chaos Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon, a free little extender, also another huge boss monster for you to kind of do your thing. But, you know, we've kind of reached the point with this deck that you don't need those rocket cards. The rocket cards just feel kind of worthless. I also do see this build is playing Red Eye Soul in here. Hey, free special summon of a Red Eye monster. Can you imagine which Red Eye's monster that you're beaming on out? Yes, you're bringing out the Darkness Metal Dragon here, and it's just kind of a little passive thing for you to be able to do your thing. That's actually kind of cool. Starting your turn with a, you know, a black metal, or, you know, well, not this doesn't have what's called in the name, but, you know, the Red Eye Soul being able to be used for as a stepping stone here for you to do your thing seems actually pretty good. But I'll take this. This is actually pretty good. The Dark End Evaporation Dragon is a good tech choice. Your Bystials are incredibly strong cards, and they just do all of this little stupid stuff that you kind of expect to be seeing out here for this. So Bystial control is definitely not something that I expected to see on my agenda of things, but you know what? It definitely gets the job done. Next up here, we have Salamangreat. Yes, Salad of all things came back into the arena this weekend and managed to make a special finish out of its regional. You know how many people out here have not necessarily remembered that Salad even exists as a deck? I think it's very important that you do consider Salad a very real challenger out here. Buffalo is definitely going to be that card that helps kind of seal the deal for a lot of this. You know, yeah, sure, a free send to Cyber's Draw 2 might not seem that good, but, you know, you have a lot of stupid one-ofs in your hand here that you don't want to see, so being able to get those down into the grave is very good. We are also playing Triple Mining and Triple Circle. This is all pretty normal stuff in my opinion. You know, getting rid of these discards for you to do your thing. I also find these ratios a little bit strange in my opinion. One Droll, one Effect Veiler, one Bell, one Ghost Ogre, but we're not playing any Crossout Designators. Very, very, very strange to be seeing that. Also, only 2 copies of Droplet. I feel like this duelist was like, you know, we'll play the one of hand traps. You know, there's no point in overstepping here. Also, I mean, down here on the side deck, you have another Droll. You have one of each Bystial. You have one Phantasme, a deck lockdown. Like, somebody's going to look at this list and they're going to be like, I don't actually understand the choices here and why, you know, they weren't doubling up on certain things. It's because in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you're kind of limited to like once per turn effects, you don't want to really run into too many of those things. And I guess it can be a little bit justifiable in terms of deck building that you don't want to clog yourself up. Obviously, Ash is a different story. Same thing out here with the Imperm, you know, being able to do multiples of these particular cards in order to kind of make sure the game progresses in your favor, all things that you need to really kind of think about at the end of the day. So very, very important stuff to be looking at here at the end of that. But that is your Salamangreat deck of all things. And our last list here is Gimmick Puppets. Yeah, I too love FTKing my opponent. Another build out here playing Crossout Destiny. Remember, this deck hates this card. A Droll and Lockbird can end an entire Gimmick Puppet player's turn. And, you know, they can't really afford to be behind so much. So they have to make some internal deck discussion choices here. So that's where you see the one Ash, the one Droll, you know, the one Nibiru to kind of help things out. And then, you know, you play the Mseti package in here to kind of offset things. Now, obviously, Horus package does, you know, speed up the whole level 8 2 monsters go burr combo line that you got. And, you know, if you somehow manage to not finish the job against your opponent, this is where you bring in these skill drains against your opponent, and your opponent's just forced to go, yes, I totally love Yu-Gi-Oh! This is so fun and interactive. This is the thing I absolutely love most out here about this. And of course, some spooky dogwoods for time. But hey, you know what? Gimmick Puppets is still going to be one of those decks you're going to look at randomly, and you're going to go, oh, okay. Also, only one King Sarcophagus, only one Walls of the Imperial Tomb. Talk about optimized ratios. But hey, see, at least if you see the walls, you know, you can go get a free Mseti, tuck back, you know, maybe a dead draw that you got along the way back into the deck for the other combo lines, so you can do your thing. But seems all right to me. So that is another round of interesting decks out here that we're finding quite the little success with out here, and I think that's That's pretty good. You do want to see differences in the meta, people challenging things and seeing what they can come up with. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.